Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to episode 9 of the Kentum playthrough. I released episode 8 inadvertently last night. Guess I just did something wrong with the scheduling. I don't know. Anyway, it was supposed to release this morning, but it didn't. So, hey, you got to see it early. Great. I'm recording episode 9 now with two things in mind. Thank you so much for the feedback and the ability to be able to get my ducks in a row as regards to streaming a game when I'm doing a voice recording over the gameplay that I already played. It might be easier to talk while I'm playing, but to be honest, I'm usually recording gameplay at different times throughout the day because I'm busy, and so just doing the recording of the voice all in one go is much easier for me in particular. So anyway, that's why I do it like that. But I hear you about not doing just play-by-play announcement a la John Madden. Love that reference, by the way. I used to watch him quite a bit growing up. So instead what I'll try to do is I'll try to talk to you a little bit more about our experience with Kentum and my experience in the video game world with Vicarious PR and V Publishing, because that's what I do for a living. I'm the CFO of those companies. And also I'll talk about the game, of course, and kind of where I am and what I'm looking at next. But today's episode is actually a lot of fun. I'm going to call it the Spider-Kent episode. We're going to be exploring the Hive, which we've unlocked previously with our new hook. You guys saw that I couldn't go past a certain point after I got there. And then I'm also going to be unlocking the rolling cube. It's called the Kent third exponential Kent cube. I found that pretty funny. The funny thing there was that I found it incidentally. I was just exploring, and I was rewarded for it with that Kent cube. So that's what we're gonna do today. After I kind of get my ducks in a row in terms of making sure my production line is streamlined and I'm able to constantly output all these crops that I need to start crafting these ingots and crafting these sheets. One of the things I did find about this game that I particularly liked was that once I had a goal in mind, right, I set my recipes on the side. I'm like, this is what I'm working towards. So it helps me keep a little bit more focused that way. But I found it funny that as I'm doing that, things pop up. Oh, here I was like, plant fiber, do I use it? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let it spoil. And the reason I was going to let it spoil so that I could accumulate more compost, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. I said, my bad. I said, oh yeah, let's go deposit this plant fiber in the monolith before it expires, because I know that plant fiber gives a good amount of progress towards my task of collecting those building materials. So that's, I guess, that's a good tip for everybody who's watching. If you have materials that are eroding that qualify for the seeds, well, that's not true because seeds don't expire, so I guess shame on me. But the building materials for sure do expire, and then some of the, so you're able to go in and deposit stuff and figure things out. Right, there you go. So they didn't expire.
The second milestone.
You go. I was like, shut up! I don't care. I already told you. Talked to me about the milestone. And then the second thing was that you could just let it expire, right, and make it into compost. That works too. One of the recipes, I think it was the health one, I forget, calls for spoiled meat and spoiled stuff. So keep that in mind too. There's a lot of thinking about. So here's my spider kenting. It was, I'm not gonna say difficult. That's not true. I need to get used to how it works. So you press B to get the hook onto the hook point, and then it kind of launches you forward a little bit, propels you. But you can jump too, so you can get like a bit of a higher, like a longer distance. So, I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. When I was grabbing onto the hook, sometimes I would not reach the ledge, and I would say, well, what the heck is going on? I'm not reaching the ledge. And then I pressed jump, right after I hooked, and then I managed to leap a little bit further. So I was like, oh, okay, I see. So it does function like the hook in Terraria, where you can, the grappling hook in Terraria, where you can hook onto something, and as you reach it, you press jump, and it kind of just propels you forward a little bit more. So that was kind of cool. But you have to hook onto the hook point, not just, you know. So here we go, Hook Point City. So one of the things I was wary about was what I was going to find at the end of my Hook Point journey. I found a lot of stuff besides the Kent Cube, so I'm going to go through it while we're watching me do a little bit of a platforming and getting where I need to go. Don't forget, when you're visiting this new area, to go ahead and do your scanning. I was diligent about it, so I was very happy that I managed to do it and figure it out, because yeah, it's a big chunk of what you're supposed to do. I've been seeing on the Discord a lot of people talking about how they haven't. Oh yeah, that's right. I found a fast travel point here. So in case you make it up here, you can always just go back. In case you die, like I did. I did die again, and I lost all the stuff I had been picking up along the way. I'm actually gonna come back here probably in the beginning of another episode and pick everything up, because I lost a whole bunch of new stuff. One of the new things you're going to see in this area is gold. Gold gets discovered in this area, and it's the next piece for gold thread, which helps with the next point of unlocking a crafting tree, and etc, etc. So that's pretty cool. Yep, that little thing took a bunch of health off of me. I was like, what? Alright, right. It's just you have to pay attention to those creatures. See, here's where I couldn't really figure out how to get up there. I thought that by pressing jump I could, or hook up again, but no. And the spikes take up a bunch of health, so I immediately just chugged a potion and kept going. I did manage, like I said, to figure it out eventually, which is where if you jump, then you're able to get on it, and then you're good to go. So I was like, oh, okay, I see what I need to do. Yep. Some of these things, looks like you can barely not reach them, and I was like, oh, come on, dude. I'm not a fan of the limits like that in games. So here's the new area that, well, the other area was new too, but this one's the new area with the new resources that you guys hadn't seen before. So this area has a lot to talk about too, because not only are there new things to scan, case in point, and you see those creatures over there, I need to scan that too. But here's where I unlock Kent Cube. Not hard at all, right? Just had to kind of follow the path up and then to the left. So on the main area with the geysers, I went up to the left, and then I just simply went up as far as I could, and there it was, right in the middle of everything. That's the next upgrade for Kent, so we can do some exploring. I don't know why I ran into that thing, but yeah, on the enemies here, I'll talk about them as we get to them. But the cool thing about the progression of Kentum so far is that when you unlock new abilities, in this case it was my hook shot, you immediately find use for them to continue exploring, but then you also have really a big use for them while fighting enemies. So you saw me that I could pick things up and chuck them somewhere, right? So that's one thing that you saw. The other thing that you're going to see is that now there's going to be enemies that require me to use a hook shot in order to be able to damage them at all. So that's a very, very different change. That's a big change from what we've been seeing so far. You'll see them right now. I think they come up. There we go. That's one of them. So that thing, you can't hurt it. See, it has a shield on it. You can try to break the shield, and you're like, well, what do I do? I'm like, well, maybe I just found the spikes, and that solves the problem. It's like, oh, wait a minute, and they can chuck it back at him. So I thought that was really cool. It's coming at you. You pick up the carapace, you chuck it back at them, It damages it, breaks the other carapace. I like those sort of little gameplay loops. When the game rewards you for unlocking a new upgrade, but not only that, it also makes... Oh, that's also new. It also makes it interesting when you unlock something new, right? Because you're just not unlocking something for the sake of progression in the world, but not for battle. And then it becomes super useful. Like, I've been using it a lot for the flying birds. It's easier to grab them out of midair and then just beat on them. This is also new. I just took them. But they harm you. And I know that now. And I forgot. And that's how I died. Wait, I forgot to scan those. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Well, now that I see it now. Okay, so those things just, come at you. You have to dodge out of the way and they hit a wall and they just roll over and you can beat on them. So that wasn't too bad. And here's your gold nodes. I think you already seen some before. Yeah, I keep forgetting to scan stuff. I'm going to go ahead and scold my past self and remind my future self to come back here. Because like I said, I lost everything. I died and I absolutely lost everything that I had been working towards, and I was kind of miffed. That's okay, it happens. And especially in this game where if you don't know what you're running into or how to deal with it, you're probably going to die. So I'll come back and remember to scan everything. So, cause I know it unlocks all those next levels of crafting recipes and stuff, and I just... You know what it was? The background in this game is so pretty, and I was kind of saying, oh, I wonder if that's a creature back there that I'm going to have to fight. And then I was kind of mesmerized by all the new stuff I was seeing. And so I wasn't really paying attention. But then I scanned that guy, and I was like, oh yeah, right, I should start scanning stuff. And at least I got there at the end, which is important. I have not seen what that gold scene does yet. It's actually kind of cool. So I'll make sure to look at that too and let you guys know about it next time I play. So what else did we find here? Oh, somebody had asked me, what other games, as we're, unlocking things and exploring more the area. So I'm really busy most of the time, right? As you guys heard in another video, I'm married, I have kids, and I coach Little League, and I do work as I'm the CFO of my own companies, and we're really busy, especially in the gaming industry. It's non-stop. We do marketing and PR and advertising for the video game industry. And we own a publishing company which publishes video games. In fact, it published Kentum. And I'm not playing it because of that reason, because we've released other games before when I don't do walkthroughs for it. But I did a walkthrough and a playthrough for Mirthwood, which is one of our other games, and because it reminded me a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is one of my favorite all-time games ever. And a little bit of I enjoy those kinds of games where you have to craft and you have to explore, which is why, like I said before, I have over 2,000 hours in Terraria. I love that game. That game is so much fun to me. And Mirthwood and Kentum have elements of Terraria, and so it's just presented to me in a different way. So I appreciate that. I appreciate it when games take a formula and just kind of expand on it and make it a little bit different. In this case, it's a craftervania game, and it made me think, oh well, you know what? I can get into this. I can find other types of games that are similar to Kentum. I think I'm going to enjoy them. That's the conclusion I came to, and that's what I like about games in general. Like you never know if you're going to enjoy something or not until you really play it. You can have a good sense of whether or not you're going to like a game by previous experiences. But let me tell you this. So I started playing games back when I was like 5 or something. And it was Nintendo, right? When Nintendo came out, and all we played was Mario because that was all that existed. Oh, I just realized you get iframes. That's nice. Mario because that's all that there was. Super Mario Brothers on a Nintendo console. We used to play a lot of Rampage. I don't know why. It was just a game we liked a lot. And a lot of Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, all those games from the Nintendo system. As I got older, I kind of gravitated back towards RPGs. I was a big Zelda fan of the original NES, like huge Zelda fan. And yeah, that was a panic moment there for me. I started gravitating towards RPGs, and that's kind of where I landed. I enjoy the genre, and I enjoy JRPGs. Played a lot of Final Fantasy and things. But as I've grown older, I stuck with RPGs, but I really tried to expand what I play more. Like, for example, for the longest time, I played League of Legends. So back when the game first came out in beta, I played for a good 10 years. I got to the point where I was trying to go semi-competitive. I had my own team, and I was a support main. I was calling the shots and that kind of stuff. And it was a ton of fun. But, I had my daughter and I got married, and I really was working full time in my career, so there wasn't really any time to dedicate to League of Legends, plus a child, plus work, so that didn't come to fruition, but that's okay. I don't really dwell on it. It was an experience. That's what it was. So yeah, I played a lot of MOBAs, and like I said, I ended up falling in love with Terraria after watching somebody stream it. I forgot who it was. I think it was Emerald Baru. I hadn't even heard of the game ever until I started watching him stream it. Same for Darkest Dungeon. I was watching him stream it, and I said, wow, this game was fun. And yeah, it became one of my all-time favorite games, Darkest Dungeon. Right now, I'm in the midst of a hardcore playthrough of Terraria. So I just beat the Eye of Cthulhu last night. I beat him 6 times in a row, actually, because I realized that if playing an expert is kind of easy once you've beaten it in Legendary Master Mode, because I'm playing in Master Mode normally, and yeah, it's really easy compared to playing it hardcore and expert. But then expert, the bosses are super easy. So anyway, one thing I noticed in this area was that, man, there are a lot of enemies that can kill you, dude, like so many. So I needed to figure out, what I can do. And here's where I did the stupid thing, and I tossed the creature to the ground, and I died. I was trying to go back home with all my loot. I failed. Still though, like everything in life, I learned in there. I need sheet, I need something else, and I need Osseous Cube, which I already have, but I need some other. Well, I had, and I lost when I died. So the next upgrade requires, more things to do. And I did lose a bunch of stuff that I had collected, but I said, all right, that's fine. I learned my lesson about immediately going back and trying to collect what I lost. And it's no big deal. I can always just go back and get it later. Resources are plentiful in this game. They respawn really quickly. Like, how quickly? I can leave an area, be gone for like 10 minutes, come back, and everything's respawned again. So I don't miss out on that much. I really don't. And now that I know what to expect when I go back there, I feel like I'll be a lot better prepared. Take my potions with me, take food with me, and just try to focus on collecting those things that I know I'm going to need for example, the geranium. I'm going to need a bunch to make those sheets because I need to make the ingots, right? And I'm going to scan everything once I get over there. Take it easy, take it chill. I don't go back there today, simply because I said, all right, well, there's other stuff that we need to do prior, and I was running out of food. That was one of the things that I was having an issue with, is food, funnily enough. Why? Because twigs. And so twigs, I let you all know this back in the, there was this new flower, right? This new frozen rose. But I didn't unlock anything. So I didn't know. I didn't understand what the purpose of all that was. I unlocked it, but I guess it's going to be necessary for the next step of the crafting tree. Probably. But there wasn't anything there. So I can get the apples. This is funny. You get the apple, and this is, I thought that, okay, well, I get the apple and I eat it, right? Nope. You grab it, and then you have to store it. Because you can throw the apple at birds. I thought that was really cool. And so, I think that the grappling hook unlocks a new potential for how you battle, right? And think about your approach to certain creatures. Like before, I would just charge up my attack, hit this thing, and that would be the end of that. But now that I have the hook shot, maybe I can do something else with it and not have to exactly. So I thought, oh, what do you mean I can just chuck it in the air and against the ball and against the floor? So that's one of the big tips I found. Chucking enemies against the floor harms them. So you can jump, chuck them down. Just don't chuck those spiky creatures in the floor, because if you land on them, they hurt you, right? That's how I died. That little updraft, you need the glider, and funnily enough, I found the glider as well. I don't think I found it in this playthrough. I think it's going to be next episode. But yeah, I have the glider. I found we found a new plant. Spud. We found potatoes. Went ahead and did a scanning on that. I said, ooh, new area, new things to craft. It's another source of food, which is great. I wonder if you heard that screech on the video. There was a car outside my window, and I think it just was involved in an accident. Whoops. Anyway, I digress. So what is it about Kentum while you watch me jump around and do stuff? You know, Kentum sales have been, to be frank, a little bit disappointing. The game hasn't sold as well as we thought it would sell. We're not quite sure why. Maybe somebody who's watching that's playing the game could give their opinion on the matter. I'm curious as to why the game doesn't feel like it's selling well. The price point's kind of low. It's $17 or something, and the gameplay is pretty fun. The game's pretty polished. So here we go. Actually, I do grab it today. Cool. And that was inadvertently. So wow, 2 things uncovered today, both the Kentum cube and the glider. Wow. I made a lot of progress in this episode. So here it is. It was inadvertent completely. I wasn't looking for it. I just said,
we can build some sort of paraglider.
Yes.
Huh. Cool.
You look indifferent.
No. Glider. Great.
Are you perhaps afraid of heights?
No. Kinda. Sorta.
Do not worry, Kent, in case...
So yeah, you guys know now that I like to shut up when Kent and Orb are talking. I feel that it's fun hearing their interactions. So this brings me back to the jungle entrance. And I was like, I see. So here's where I thought it was funny. If the game is sequential, and what I mean by that is this gate unlocking is sequential, then that means I'm meant to go to the jungle first before I go into the hive, right? That's how it I read that. It's not alphabetical order, so then the game is kind of saying you're unlocking those fast travel points in the order in which you're supposed to visit them.
Biological
That's usually how it goes.
Empty.
And in this case, well, yeah, I realize you can grab those things. I was like, it's fun. They poison you. Shit. This game, dude, sometimes those things are crazy. You can bring them to you, don't bring them to you when they're electrified. You know, duh. And I'm glad I realized that. But I was running low on food. I was running low on health. So I was like, I need a rest. I need to eat. I need to make sure I'm ready for the next piece of exploration, because again, there's so much stuff to do. There was, I think the next episode I really do spend a lot of time organizing my base. which is fine. I guess I'll still record it like that. And instead of just talking about the way I'm organizing stuff, I'm going to talk more about Kentum in general and all the things we faced while we were trying to publish the game and working with the developers, because it's interesting. And then the issues we've been facing with selling the game, really. The game has gotten massive amounts of coverage. It's all over, the major news sites. Bunch of people are covering it on YouTube, influencers, etc. It's got really good reviews. It's just not selling. And we wonder if it's a byproduct of the times, right? Things are a bit tight for everybody right now, monetarily, and we understand that. And, we don't want to... But you can't just blame usually things like that, because if it's usually a combination of things when something doesn't sell well. It's either bad timing because another game releases that people are flocking towards, and so they're purchasing that instead. And if that game happens to be massive, a giant IP, like a popular IP of a game that just released, and that'll screw you up pretty bad. The thing is that when we do game releases, we normally pay very close attention to those kinds of things, especially with bigger companies, like with the massive IPs. So we released Kentum in a time frame where we felt there was not that much competition in that world. So that was one of the things where we're scratching our heads a little bit about it. But like I said, I think part of the problem is that folks are kind of, money's tight, and folks aren't spending as much money as they normally do, and that makes it hard. And a lot of people have practiced the frugality method, right? So they wait till the game is on sale, especially right now. And what I mean by that is the winter sale is about to come up, and Black Friday and all that kind of stuff, and people are trying to save up money for buying things for Christmas or for the holidays. That was my alarm telling me that I have to go to a meeting. Sorry about that. But yeah, anyway, that's what I think. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. I think that Kentum just suffered from a perfect storm of things that are in the way. But that's okay. Live and learn, and we'll keep working towards making the game better and making sure that it's a great experience for everybody. So we're going to call it for today. I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to sleep, and then that'll be episode 9. Episode 10 will come out the day after, and there's more exploration and there's more things to unlock. So hey, hope you're having a blast. I'm having a blast playing against him with you all. Have a good day.